Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Nashville Tour Stop podcast, episode number 117, featuring our longest-running intern and episode 3 of 3 on our intern series for our spring 2024 Belmont students. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome, Miss Rachel Sinniger. Thank you. Welcome to the podcast, Rachel.
It is lovely to be here.
I'm delighted to get to have you. We've been hanging out a lot for a long time, and this is the last day. This is the last day.
Oh, don't say that. I'm going to cry. Okay, hold on. I've been crying over the most trivial stuff lately.
Yeah.
But right? I think that's just a part of who I am. I cried over a TV episode, the TV show Bones. Not a sponsor.
I never watched Bones.
You should. It's on Hulu. Completely on Hulu.
I don't have Hulu. Hulu's expensive now.
The Disney Plus bundle.
It's like $20 a month for no ads.
Oh, I don't have no ads.
You
but Bones doesn't have any ads.
Oh.
Maybe I don't. Maybe I do have Hulu no ads.
I think you're paying for an ad-free Hulu. Hashtag not an ad.
Not a sponsor.
Well, welcome to the podcast. I know you have been part of Tour Stop for 2 semesters now. You started with us last fall of 2023. We started every episode by telling the story of how we met, but the story of us meeting is just you found the internship and applied for it. Right?
No, I DM'd you.
You did DM me.
Yes.
You slid into our DMs.
Yes, I slid into the Tour Stop DMs. Because I was like, I really need an internship. And the whole summer, it was just rejection, which I'm sure they all regret it. But you need an internship to graduate from like, the music business, kind of school at Belmont.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I was just like, please, somebody give me an internship. I'm a really good worker. I'm really responsible and respectful, and I'm a joy to be around and an asset for everyone. So please. And you're like, yeah, let's have a Zoom call or something. And I was like, oh my God.
I did it. Mom, guess what? I'm going to graduate. So what's your major at Belmont?
I'm a songwriting major and a music business minor.
Gotcha. And where are you from?
Northern Virginia. Lorton, Virginia, right on the edge of Lorton and Alexandria.
So when you were growing up, was music always part of like your life as a kid, or did you pick it up later?
I really loved musical theater.
Okay.
That was like what I thought I was going to do.
Too. I did theater.
That's what I thought I was going to do for like college and stuff, and then I didn't get it anymore. But but I'm over it now. So.
I'm over it. I'm not bitter about it still.
But yeah, one of the stories my dad likes to tell is that he would always put on Sound of Music, but he would stop it like at the intermission before it gets like deadly with all the
sad Nazis and.
Mm-hmm. I wasn't sure if we were allowed to say that.
You're like, wow, this movie is really short and has a weird ending.
It's like an hour and a half. It's perfect. But then I would make my dad perform the entire first act with me, and I would be Maria. And he would be everybody else, which made the scenes where Maria was not in them very fun to watch.
You're just watching your dad talk to himself.
Because I did insist that he...
What?
all 7 Von Trapp children, he was them all.
He is 16 going on 17, and he's singing to himself.
He's also 17 going on 18.
Wow, the top 10 things I did not expect to learn was that your dad is doing a solo duet between a 16-year-old and a 17-year-old.
Mm-hmm. And nowadays, he performs in the Nutcracker.
Really?
Yes, he is one of the adults in the party scene.
That's
because
cool.
My little sister is a ballerina herself, a dancer.
Dope.
So she'll get Clara one day. And the worst thing about it is they always perform it in like November. And I'm like, I'm not home in November.
I can't just make a special trip to Virginia.
Back.
It's
Nutcracker
like
is a Christmas thing. What
session.
the heck? It was just Thanksgiving and you're performing the Nutcracker? That doesn't make sense. But yeah. I think
so. Did you do theater up through high school and everything?
Up until the summer I graduated. Well, I guess the spring, but you're allowed to do the summer show after you graduate.
So did you start playing the guitar and writing songs in high school, or was that earlier in your life?
Guitar, way earlier.
Okay.
Guitar, I started when I was like 6 years old. My most amazing music teacher Katie at Shellerando Music. She also hosts intermediate or young age child music classes called Tots with Tempo if you're in the Alexandria, Virginia region.
You're like, I was a prodigy.
I don't think I was. I think it took until like 9th, 10th grade for me to like start practicing.
Right.
Like, and coming into like our meetings excited to
that
play
was
the
when
guitar.
you started like taking it more seriously.
Yes, for sure. And then I didn't even know that like songwriting was a career path or something I could go to college for.
You're like, it's just something guys in rock bands do. And Taylor Swift.
Yeah, or all the
she
like
writes her own songs.
So I didn't know that I wanted to apply to Belmont for songwriting until my voice teacher at the time was like, hey, you said you've been writing songs over COVID. The first time I started writing songs was, senior year of high school.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, well, you should apply to Belmont while you're applying there for musical theater because they have a songwriting degree. And I'm like, that's
cool.
not a thing.
That's not real. Don't lie to me.
And then
Don't lie to me.
I was accepted. So
what was the audition process like?
I think it was just send in like verse chorus of 2 songs, and I think there was like a list of questions that was like, who do you see yourself like, or who impacted your music, or stuff like that. And it was like choose from a couple of them and answer them. But there's a few on YouTube. Mine is like unlisted; you can't find it. But there's a few that are like public, and I'm like, that is so brave. Thankfully, they all say like accepted. I'm like,
so brave
so
to
brave.
put them up publicly.
And I'm sure that's what like all the people who applied to songwriting watch, and you like measure up your songs with it. And I'm like,
did you teach yourself songwriting then?
Yeah,
or at least initially.
Yeah. I knew the basics of like verse, chorus, bridge, chorus.
Chorus, verse, chorus, lunch, bridge, chorus.
verse, chorus, break. See you next week.
Let's reconvene after
send
dinner.
a voice note at midnight. I think I got it. I
think I got it. we can hop onto a call tomorrow.
I'll just send you what I finished. No need for you to add anything.
I have done that before where I wrote like half of a song or like most of a song with somebody, and then I finished writing it myself. Like, you're excited about it and you want to. But there was this one guy who I wrote the chorus of a song, or I wrote the chorus of the song with him, and then we never talked about the song again. And then I really liked it, so I just went and wrote all the verses. And then I played it around once that he was at, and he's like, we didn't finish writing that. I was like, well, I did. He goes, not cool, man. I was like, we haven't talked about it in a year.
If someone just brought me a finished song and said, you're a co-writer on this, I'd be like,
sweet.
Great.
Tag me on BMI Live.
Yeah, literally.
Help me get 25 cents.
Gosh.
Actually, live performance royalties do pay out quite a bit.
Yeah, I just started mine for ASCAP Live.
Mm-hmm. It's one of the, like, unfortunately, like, not well broadcast ways for songwriters to make money. And because we're all heartbroken and fighting over, like, well, Spotify pays. I'm like, yeah, they're never going to pay us more. But venues and bars who do have money could pay more. Mm-hmm. So, like, back in 2019, when I was in Nashville playing all the time, I played, I think it was like 150 shows or something in one year.
In the year? Oh my gosh.
And it was all writers' rounds or like hour-long, just like play in the background set. I legit made $9,000 off of live performance royalties. And when I tell people that, they're like, how? And I'm like, just do a lot.
It's good. It's a good gig, especially if you can gig somewhere, get paid for the gig, and then put that into something.
Because like at the listening,
it's like a wedding venue,
exactly.
300 people.
Yeah. It's not about how many people are present. It's about how many people the place could be present. And isn't that the most hopeful thing a songwriter can say? There could be 300 people at this venue.
There aren't. It's just me right now.
You're like, there were 7, but there could be 300.
But you know what? Those 7, well, I was one of them. Those 6.
There's 6.
They couldn't care less about what I was playing.
Less. Like, if you play at the listening room, you get paid for the size of the venue, but you also get paid if it's a ticketed show as well.
Yes.
So I think me and you were joking about like renting out Nissan Stadium and being like, There could have been 65,000 people. There weren't.
I wonder if
there were 7 people.
I wonder if those big artists, Taylor Swift, Ed Sheeran,
you can.
when they do that, I wonder if they are.
Well, I mean,
not that they need
at least
the
on
extra
BMI,
money.
you can go through and like search for like Bridgestone Arena and Nissan Stadium, and they do pop up as venues.
Yeah.
Like you can register that.
You know what doesn't?
So we bleeped those venue names to protect the identities, but what I will say...
We should just change them to be like Chick-fil-A on 8th.
Chick-fil-A and Taco Bell. But the thing about that, and the reason why these PROs let us submit new venues like this, is because it allows us, the songwriters, to basically work as field agents for the PROs to find venues that aren't paying for licenses. So even though we're not directly getting paid by the venue, we can then go tell these PROs, hey, this venue is having live music on a very regular basis and do not have a license. Mm-hmm. And then they send their people and they're like, hey, looks like you have live music every day. I believe that's another one of the reasons why these places are starting to kill music, is because music licenses are expensive.
That's dumb.
Like if your bar, like I said, if your bar can hold 300 people, that license probably costs quite a bit. So bars, venues, hotels, restaurants who have live music, get that license and pay those songwriters.
I wonder if I could make my apartment a venue.
Probably.
And then every time I'm like, it'd probably cost more to pay the licensing than it would to. But I'd only need one because it's only me.
It's only me. But I mean, even back in the day when I was playing at this bar called Belcourt Taps, which unfortunately you never got to see, but
I see its remnants sometimes.
You see its remnants as the what is it? Not a taco place, a dumpling house. That's what it's called, the dumpling house. But back then, when it was Belcourt Taps, you could play a writer's round to 0 people, or to the bartender and the sound guy, and even though no one was there, you could make, I think it was like $1.99 per song because of the live performance royalty. So if you play an hour by yourself, you play 12 songs, so that's $25 you could make just in live performance royalties. But then imagine you're playing these 300 capacity venues with tickets, like you might start making $10, $12, $15 a song. Like there is a lot of money in PRO live performance royalty stuff. So if you're not doing this right now, go sign up for a PRO.
Yes.
Sign up for a PRO, get your music protected, and make a little bit of money. But yeah, sign up for your PROs. Just get yourself protected. I think that BMI costs money now to join. ASCAP
is free to join both as a writer and a publisher.
Mm-hmm. BMI was free to join as a songwriter when I joined, and it cost...
And that was like 1950.
What?
That was 1950 when you joined.
Yeah, I'm 79 years old.
I think they had just created BMI, so you were in that initial one, right?
Yeah. I am actually
old
the founder. Jokes. We changed BMI to NTS in the late 2000s. But I think that joining BMI now costs money, and when I joined as a publisher, Nashville Tour Stop's actually a publisher, so it did cost money. I think it was $100 back then. But yeah, join whichever one you feel is right. I don't know really. If
now then, your songs, are they under Nashville Tour Stop, or are they under like Aaron Publishing?
Tour Stop owns the publishing of Aaron Schilb, and Aaron Schilb owns the songwriter.
Okay.
Not that it makes a difference, really.
Just to funnel it all in one.
Yeah. God forbid somebody wanted to buy the company. I could be like, oh, well, you have to buy my catalog, too. You have to buy my wedding song. This is a package deal, baby.
It's a good song. I like it.
So you moved here in what year?
2021. Fall of 2021.
So like right when Belmont was starting in-person classes again, right?
Yes, I believe so. We all had to wear a mask the first semester. And then...
What was that like getting, like, because you finished high school during the shutdown, right?
Yeah, at least in my district, up in Virginia, about halfway through the school year, you were...
The camera quit.
Oh.
Yeah, the camera overheated. Yeah, it overheated. Wow, that's hot. That is exactly why it died, though. Never mind. Okay, keep going.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not going to work.
Aw. I hope we got all the good bits then.
Yep, we'll give it a minute to cool off.
Okay. Yeah, so at least in my district, halfway through my senior year of high school, you were given the option to go back in person. Everyone had to wear a mask. Everyone was 6 feet apart, all the desks.
Woof.
And it was very awful. Like lunch was just a bunch of desks.
Kids sitting alone.
Yeah, because they weren't like the big tables.
Right.
They were individual desks with tape around them, 6 feet apart.
That's bonkers.
And it was so depressing. I went back for like 2 days and I was like, I'm not doing this anymore.
That's awful. You're like, I don't want to see people this bad.
Yeah, so then I finished all virtual.
You finished high school online?
Yeah.
That's crazy to me.
Well, here's the best part is the year before, junior year, was actually when COVID hit. And all the AP exams, like they didn't really know how to
do that because they have to be monitored.
Well, they weren't. So they basically just said, you can use your notes.
Mm-hmm.
Like, use your notes. So I think it would have been smart for them if they made them just a little bit harder than normal years. But I have no idea if they did because we had notes.
Yeah, what the heck is up with tests being like, you don't get to use a calculator. You're never going to have... I'm always going to have access to the entire breadth of the human knowledge on my phone. And you're like, you're not going to have a calculator at your job. I'm like, are you kidding me? This calculator is stronger than the the space shuttle that took the people to the moon.
AP exams, I can get behind them. Like, you don't get notes because they're supposed to be hard.
Yeah, they're supposed to be hard.
Like, you're supposed to work for 9 months at learning a subject inside and out. Like, they're supposed to be hard. You're not supposed to get notes. But then, I don't know. There are just some things that don't matter.
I only had to take one AP exam, and I took AP Music Theory.
What do you mean you had to? Like, you just didn't sign up for those classes?
I took an AP Music Theory class, but I only had to take one. And
I took like 10.
It was so easy. And see, in my head, It was easy because I was good at music theory.
Yeah.
But there were some other kids who just were like, oral training? What? Like, did you have to take music theory at Belmont? Did you have to take like music theory 1 or something, like intro to music theory?
I think.
Fundamentals of music?
I think not, because I think I just said to them, I've taken guitar for like, I don't know how long it had been at that point, like 10 years. Like, I'll play you a riff or something. Like, I don't want to take this class. So I think I just took like a very easy like intro to music class or something. And it was like, is this a quarter note?
Is this a quarter note?
Which like one of these is a half note? When I started
college my freshman year, I was at the University of Central Missouri. And at the University of Central Missouri, outside of Kansas City, in a little town called Warrensburg, our school mascot was the mule because we work hard.
Can I interrupt that? For a very long time, I thought the Belmont mascot was called Bullwinkle. I think someone lied to me at freshman orientation, and I ran with it. I
thought it was Bullwinkle.
I thought it was
Rocky
Bullwinkle. Yeah, someone just told me, like, oh, that the Belmont mascot? Yeah, its name is Bullwinkle.
What's his actual name?
Bruiser.
Bruiser the Bruin?
Mm-hmm.
Bullwinkle? Wow.
I don't know. Someone actually just told me. I actually just took someone's word with Bruiser, so it might not be.
Oh, that's so funny. Wow. Oh, wow. So you're the kid who, if someone was like, hey, the Gullible is written on the ceiling, you're like, no, it's not. When I went to school at the University of Missouri, that's where I graduated from, we had a big, we had a gigantic quad, and there were 6 columns from the original, academic building that burnt down in the, 1800s or something. Mm-hmm. So, the only remnants of the original college are these 6 columns. It's cool that we have new columns and everything, but, it's a landmark of our hometown. But the weird part is that now I mess with people because I'll be like, hey, you know, the 6 original columns that were the remnants of the old school. Did you know 2 of them are actually farther apart than all the others? And people are like, no way. I had no idea. I'm like, yeah, it's the 2 on the end. And they're like, fuck you. So you moved here to do the songwriting program. How did your songwriting process change from when you were a kid in Virginia to starting songwriting classes at Belmont?
I just got better. They weren't crap anymore.
I practiced and I got good, bitch.
Yeah. I learned how important doing it so many times is
just making it's muscle memory.
pretty much is. And then two, I've always been a perfectionist, so the idea of like taking a step back from the song and looking at it from another lens or picking out what doesn't really work, like
if you spend too much time on the same thing, you become blind to the little things. Like
it's
that
like, should I
happened the
say
other day when I had
or
to,
that?
Yeah, I had to have
It doesn't
someone
matter.
Spell check a document that I had written. I was like, I have read this too many times. I just need somebody else to read this.
Again, did you write it on parchment? Like there wasn't a spell check online?
Well, it was like grammar stuff, or like, did I forget a period, or are there too many spaces somewhere? Like, I was actually creating the document in Photoshop, which does not have spell check in it.
What?
I needed it to be very artsy.
Okay.
But all to say, I was like, I need somebody else to read this. And thank God, because they found 3 typos. So, yeah, I feel you.
My co-writer, Summer Sneed, can attest to this. But
Shout out Summer Sneed.
shout out Summer Sneed. She just released a song called Redbird.
Nice number.
She'll be playing tomorrow at Cambria with me.
Cambria Hotel.
But she can attest that if I don't like a lyric that she has proposed, I'll go no. No.
No.
And that's
there's
what's,
no
and she does the
mincing of
same thing back
words.
to me, but that's what's so great about finding like a co-writer who
It's hard to
gets
find
you.
a good co-writer who you can be like, I think we can do better. Let's not use that.
because I hate all this like fussy
Wishy-washy.
of like, could we find a better word for that? Perhaps we could phrase this differently.
Perchance
I just feel like that
dream
doesn't
on a
make
summer's
sense there. We
evening.
need
Like,
to do this again.
It's like, get rid of that, start over.
I don't
Have you
like
ever also
that.
gotten like halfway through writing a song and then you realize like everyone who is like halfway through writing with you is like, this sucks.
This is a bad song.
This is a bad song.
Thankfully, that hasn't happened to me in summer yet. Although we have abandoned some just by the
have
nature
done
of like
that.
we only meet so many hours a week.
Do they, as part of your curriculum, mandate how many hours you write?
Oh God, no.
Do they have a certain number
That's
of
communism.
deliverables? Like in your songwriting classes, do they have deliverables of like how many songs you have to write?
They're like
what's
assignments.
the curriculum
The
of a
assignments
songwriter?
are the songs. So like in songwriting 1 and songwriting 2, you get given like each assignment is like write a song in open tuning. And then you'll have like a week or 2 weeks. I do wish there was a more turnaround time or less turnaround time. Like
'Cause
you'll
they
be
give
given
you
like
too
a
much
full
time.
month to write a single song, and I'm like, look,
I'm done.
this
I finished
like
it.
our songwriting major's curriculum is not hard. You can give us more work. Like people joke like business majors are easy. They're like, oh, they're coloring in pictures. We're like, we're just writing our feelings down. Like
I'm paying to write my feelings.
and then setting them to the same 4 chords. Like
Now, what would be hard is if they're like, write it in an open tuning, but put it in 5/4.
oh God. Make
I
sure
used to challenge myself to that stuff when I was.
use the word predisposition in this song.
It's like, let's make it a little masochistic. I want you to hate yourself for writing it.
I want you to write a song that's kind of like this, but also kind of like this. Two things that are
but
completely
all of it's
different.
bad.
I want you to write a good song. Can you guys try that this week, please?
Please. So, what was the first song you remember writing where when it was done, that you were like, damn, okay, I got it.
Texas Plates.
Say what?
Texas Plates.
Okay.
That'll be on the album.
Did you produce that and record it here in town?
Yes.
Who'd you work with?
Friend of a friend, Adrian James at Adrian James Audio and Woodsong Studio. Not a sponsor, but love to send
Cool.
the love their way. Yeah, we.
Was that your first time recording an album or recording music?
I
So
had done
what was
some
the
things with
process
my guitar
like?
teacher,
What was
but
the process like?
it was so scary. I remember just texting him from a number that my friend Scarlett O'Hara had given me, and just being like, "Hello, my friend Scarlett said you're really good at producing music, and I would like to produce an album, please." And he's like, "Sure. What's your name?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, yeah."
You're like,
sure.
fuck, I forgot to say my name.
But no, he was awesome. He basically just, sent me the invoice and was like, you can pay this like whenever. And I'm like stressing. I'm like moving money around from savings and checking the different accounts.
You're like, I was supposed to spend this on groceries, but...
And like I brought in the check the day that we were recording the instruments. And he's like, oh, I forgot about this. I was like,
oh, 21st century.
Right. No, he had forgot that I didn't pay him yet.
Wow. That's
he has his
that's
money
the producer
now.
you want.
He has his money
Who's just
now.
into the music.
Yeah. Colton Randall playing also at Cambria, friend of the show.
Tour stopper.
He did drums, trombone, and
Sweet.
piano.
I did not know he was a trombone player.
Yeah.
Well, while you go and look for this guy's name on your phone, we'll take a quick break and come right back with more on the Nashville Tour Stop podcast. The Nashville Tour Stop podcast is recorded live on Music Row in Nashville, Tennessee at Interstate Music and is produced by Amadio AV Solutions with Mr. Alex Amato. Now more from the Nashville Tour Stop podcast. And we're back with Rachel Sinniger on episode number 117 of the Nashville Tour Stop podcast. Sorry that our video has gone out on this one. Our little GoPro Max just overheated and just crapped out on me.
We all have those days.
Hashtag GoPro. This is not an ad.
Not a sponsor.
But when we took a break, you were looking for the names of the other performers.
No, I knew their names. I totally knew their names. Yeah, no, I recorded at Woodsong Studio with Adrian James Audio. And Colton Randall did drums, trombone, piano. Seth.
Was that Seth Martin?
It was Seth Martin.
Okay.
Yeah, Seth Martin played the bass. And then Andrew Williams did fantastic on the guitar.
So did you play any of the instruments yourself, or did you just sing?
No, I just sang that day. Basically just sang rough vocals. And then I'll go in next week and do all the final ones.
That's exciting.
I'm so excited. I was so nervous, like, before we did the instruments. I texted him the night before, Adrian, and I was like, what's tomorrow going to be like? Like, is everyone going to hate me?
Are people going to listen to this?
Are they even going to like the music? But he was like, yeah,
and then your
so
imposter syndrome's like, do I suck?
We'll just record the music. Every time one of them was like, oh, I love this song. As we're listening to the demo, I was like, yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks. I wrote it. Yeah.
You're like, I did that.
A lot of them are just solo written things. There's a few on there, like Highly Anticipated. It's just a fun pop thing that I wrote in a class with Caroline Darling, friend of the show. And then White Collar Man, which my boyfriend insisted go on it. Written with Isabella Heyer and Annie Sullivan, friends of the show. And then Rear View, Summer got into. Because I just brought it to her one day and I was like, need to finish. Recording tomorrow, need to finish.
So how many songs are going to be part of this project?
I think 10 and an intro.
And are you going to release them all at the same time? Is it just a full album, or are you going to do like a couple of singles?
I'm thinking couple of singles, like 3, and then album drop all in the fall. Because I don't want to work during the summer. I don't know. Like, I don't have that many more like
Enjoy
free
the summer
summers.
while you still can.
So I'm like, I don't want to. You can't make me.
Yeah, I miss the. God, it's hard to describe that feeling that you have right now of like,
I'm all done.
We're done.
I don't have to do anything until August.
2.5 months. I wish that I could go back and re-feel that like last day of school. You remember field day in like elementary school where you go?
Yeah, I hated it.
You hated field day?
I'm not an athletic person.
I love field day. It's like, let's play in the parking lot all day and throw balloons at each other, and then there'll be cake and ice cream, and then we get out of school early.
We always had one, like, the floor is lava game in the gym, and I was really good at that one because I was, like, teeny tiny. Obviously, we all were. It was elementary school. But I was teenier than most.
Wow. Yeah, I want to go back and feel that first day of summer again.
It's like that build-up in High School Musical 2 where they're like, summer, Summertime.
Okay, we made it. I'm free.
Summer. What is that song? Is that Summer Paradise? No, that's Teen Beach Movie.
Summer lovin' had me a blast.
That's Grease. Let's see. I can't remember it. It'll pop up when we hit stop
Well,
recording.
let's see. You're on your end of your junior year here, right? Mm-hmm. So what are you going to do this summer with your newfound free time?
Trying to get
Sleep?
trying to get a business up and going. That Tots with Tempo class that I talked about earlier. I'm trying to get that going in Nashville with the help of my guitar teacher back in Virginia. So I have all these instruments, but you would not believe it. There are already music classes in Nashville.
Who would have thought? Who would have thunk? Starting a music business in Nashville? God forbid.
Kind of a saturated market.
It is a pretty oversaturated market. Like, I'm going through that a bit right now because there's so many places that have writers' rounds. And when I moved here in 2017, that was really not the case.
Really?
It was very different back then. And there were only a handful of, like Tour Stop is a weekly show. And at least we have a lot of shows every week. When I moved here, there were no shows that happened multiple times per week. Like back then, Whiskey Jam was still only one day a week. And there was some other shows that were weekly, but there was no such thing as like one show hosts 5 shows a week. Like that just didn't exist. And there weren't that many just weekly rounds to go to. There was one called Why Not Wednesday. There was The Revival. There was like 5 or 6 shows to go to. And it felt like the songwriter pockets were a lot more concentrated back then. And it's very different now because everyone's kind of found their pocket, and
yes.
It's nice that we have, I hate saying divided, but we're like we have found like that safe community where this is, I don't even want to call it the core group, but you like these are the people who vibe with this.
Yeah.
And back when I moved here, like I'm not a bro country dude. The only option were bro country rounds. There was nowhere for me.
Yeah, I kind of can't relate because I got here in 2021, so I've only ever known Nashville as this, not up and coming town, but here. This town is here. It's big. It's
happening.
It's loud. Yeah.
What do you remember about your like early days in Nashville? Was it overwhelming?
I didn't have a car, so that was terrifying. And I didn't have very many friends.
Did you not know anybody when you started at Belmont?
I knew my roommate because we were from the same town. But I didn't know anyone else.
That's tough.
I had met a few people at like orientation over the summer, but
the awkward icebreaker games.
You have to do
I'm
them.
Rachel,
You
and
have to.
my desert island meal would be grilled cheese. I don't know, but like
A frozen
those
Marie
freshman,
Callender's
like
mac and
icebreaker games
cheese.
are so cringe. Like I remember doing those in my like
Name major
dorm
hometown.
lobby. Like ugh.
Yeah, but you have to. I remember
You have
trying
to.
to break into rounds, trying to just play a bunch because, I was like, I'm coming to Nashville to do music. I want to do music. I want to get out there and play my songs. But at the time, like, people, and I don't hate them for this, but people weren't letting you onto rounds unless you had music out and a fan base. And I understand it, especially working with Tour Stop. Like, I understand it. You have to have people there. Like, you're trying to, make an income for your sponsors, make an income for the people who are hosting you there, for the venue.
Yeah,
and you just can't
that
do
the
that if
venue
you have
needs to make money.
Right, or they're going to say no more rounds for you.
But that's why we have this program with you guys called Too Cool for School that we do
Yes,
at these places.
I wish something like that existed. I hope you keep it going next semester because it's so amazing.
It's creating an opportunity for people like you who wanted to be involved but couldn't because you're like, well, I'm 18, so I can't buy alcohol, and I'm 18, so I also don't have money, and
I can't I
have nothing to
can't cut a
contribute
record. I
other
have
than
no
my-
idea how to work a
Yeah.
DAW. I don't know anyone who does. I just got here. I just want to. All I know is how to play my music, and you won't let me do that, and it's so frustrating.
It's frustrating. So that's one reason why I've really enjoyed this semester is it's given an opportunity for me I don't go to Belmont. I don't know anything about the Belmont world. I wouldn't have met any of these people who've played, and a lot of them have gotten integrated into the regular tour stop scene because of it. And that's why we do it, is because it gives people an opportunity that they wouldn't have been given otherwise.
Yeah, I think Nashville overlooks just how much talent is on the Belmont campus.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the second they walk around, there will be probably exploitation of those Belmont students. But also a lot of them seeing great success. Yeah. And I hope someone gets.
You're like, and I also hope that some of it's for me.
Yes. Yeah. Did I mention I write songs? Yeah.
What would your like ultimate I made it success be? Like, do you have a dream of a venue you want to play, or a Grammy or a #1 or any of it? What's the first thing that comes to mind when someone's like, what would you have if you could have anything?
Goats.
Goats?
Yeah, I would like to make my own goat cheese.
That's very...
I would like to...
We should talk to our other intern, Grace, about living on a farm.
Probably not the answer most would give. No,
If money wasn't an object, you'd want to raise goats.
Yeah, I would.
I can tell you that there are places you can do that.
We did goat yoga. My dad and my sisters came down last Easter and we did goat yoga, and that was a lot of fun.
Was it really?
Yeah, they were pooping everywhere. Just where
they put a goat on your back?
Christmas cards. I mean, everyone, in downward dog, and there's a goat on you. There's a goat on your butt.
They're like, hold still. You don't want to drop it.
They had them in little tuxedos.
Are you kidding me?
In tutus. It was so cute.
A goat
you
in
guys
a tuxedo?
have to go to goat yoga.
Tuxedo goat? Goatcedo?
Keep trying. Workshop it. We'll workshop it.
We'll workshop it.
No, I would just my success story would be I can work from anywhere. People want to write with me. Mm-hmm. I only come to Nashville once a week, once a month, so maybe have a meeting with a publisher. But I don't really want to be a touring artist.
Right. You want to be a writer?
Yes, I do. I can see myself as kind of like a Nicole Gallion figure, where I put out music for myself that's like too personal for anyone else to want to record, and then do a show for like my family and friends.
The fun of it.
Yeah, but then a majority of my songs are like #1 hits that nobody knows I wrote.
That's cool, and it's getting harder and harder to divide one or the other, because I feel like most publishers now want the combo artist-writer deal. Yeah. And that shouldn't be the way it is. That's not how Nashville was built, and it's not going to be how Nashville's sustained. No. The people on stage, I don't want to say should be, but they should be. You go be the star. Yep. You sing my song. Pay me to write your songs. Well, I'd love for them to have, a seat in the room to tell me, like, no, that doesn't make sense. Like, oh, I want to tell my story, but let me ghostwrite it for you. Let's find words that are meaningful for you, but let me write them so they sound good. There's a good writer who's got tons of hits named Aaron Rachel, and he also writes just goofy, dumb, funny music, which is why he and I are buddies. He's your hero. But yeah, he's got a song called "I Like Oranges." Okay. He just writes dumb, funny songs, but he also has like huge hits with huge artists, and it's fun talking to him. But he gave me some of the best songwriting advice that I've ever heard. It was right after I met him. He and I were at the Red Door Saloon up in Midtown Nashville, and I said, "Hey, I'm still new to Nashville. I don't know too much about the industry. You're clearly very successful as a writer," because he's not an artist. I mean, he's put out music, like you've said, but he is a writer's writer. And I was like, what advice do you have for me as somebody who has big cuts with big artists, and how do I do that? He goes, well, if you're sitting... Actually, he was stoned. He's like, well... Okay, I won't do the voice. But it's like, if you're in a room with an artist, and your job as the writer is to write music for them, you're not telling them what to write. You say, what are you writing? And then you listen to all the things that they say, and it's your job to puzzle piece them together. They're not going to like anything that you say more than things that they say. Exactly. And he's like, your job is to Sudoku or whatever it is, puzzle piece them together to figure out how to map that puzzle and then give them the song.
Yeah.
They're in theory giving you all of the content you need if they're just talking their heart out.
That's where the, business talk of like, I wonder if we could say this differently comes in, because you can't just tell someone like that's a stupid thought for a song.
Stupid cut.
No one's ever written a song about having their heart broken before.
But it is hard being a writer, because you do have to listen to someone who may say something stupid.
I mean, if Toby Keith came to me and said, I want to write a song called Firework, and I want it to be about how you love someone so much that their love is like a firework, I'm be like, that's already been done, but I'm going to write it for you. I'm going to write that song for you.
I swear to God, every time I hear someone write a song like, this song is called Love Like a River, and I'm like, here we go. It's like it's going to be all of the water metaphors
all the metaphors for love.
Yep, it's going to be sometimes it's rushing, and sometimes it's slow, and sometimes it freezes up entirely, and you're like, I'm bored. I've read this book before. I've heard this song 6,000 times, but who knows? Maybe it'll be another of the 6,001st number one song about a horse.
It works. I mean, breakup songs make the money.
Yes, they sure do.
That's what sucks about being in a happy relationship.
When you're all emo and you're listening to a song, you're like, this song is about my life.
Every time like a good breakup album comes out, like Olivia Rodrigo or Taylor Swift or something, I ask Austin, my boyfriend, I say, can we like break up for an hour so I can really, really feel this? And he goes, no, every time. But I'm going to keep asking because I want to feel those songs. I want to
write a really good breakup song.
Yeah. That's when you have to like live
let's break up for a day so I can be sad for 24 hours and then we'll get back together.
I have a song about that on the album.
Do you really?
Yeah.
Break up for a day?
Break up for an hour.
Wow. Wow. Look at that. And this is how we write songs.
Do you want to co-write deal on that?
I feel like so much of co-writing is just two people or three people or however many people just sitting and talking, and then you say something and someone goes, that's the one. Like that's the thing that's what we're writing about. And that's an exciting moment when everyone clicks in and you're like, all right, there's the inspiration for it.
Yeah, that's why it can be awkward on like a first co-write with someone, because you're just like both on your phone, like looking through your notes, like there's nothing good in here.
That's why I don't take co-writes with strangers too often anymore. Like even doing Tour Stop, I still have people messaging my personal Instagram like, hey, would love to play, but would also love to like hang out and write a song sometime. And I'm like, all right, you need to come to the show to understand that I don't do that. It's like,
what the heck?
It's like you don't want to get into a writer's room with me and realize all of my songs are funny and that you're not funny.
It's like, do you know who I am?
Do you know who I am? I wrote a really inappropriate song about a wedding.
But I mean, yeah, co-writes are fun. Co-writes are scary. Everyone should co-write. I applied to a club at Belmont, which will not be named. And I was basically like, they're like, why do you want to join this club? And I'm like, oh, I'd like to meet other songwriters and get more co-writes. And you have to submit a few songs. And they're like, they send back a no, you didn't get into the club. Woof. And I'm like, oh, sad. And so I email, and this is what musical theater taught me, is to not take rejections too hard, because you're going to get, you're going to go out for 1,000 auditions. You get 999 no's and one callback, and then you don't get the part. You know what I mean? But they're like, no, you didn't get into the club. I send them an email. I'm like, so, what do you think I could improve? Because you can apply on a semester basis. I'm like, what do you think I can improve for next semester? And they're like, oh, you should do more co-writes.
Woof.
I was like,
you have no idea. Do you know who I am?
And of course, one of the times I name dropped Tour Stop. Sorry. But I just had to. I'm like, yeah, I actually go through all the submissions for Nashville Tour Stop.
It's funny how those things work. As soon as you're like, I am literally the gatekeeper. You're like, if I see a name and I'm just like, Tour Stop's number one rule is don't be a dick. And
sorry.
You might have violated rule number 1.
But whatever. They're not even that cool a club. I don't even want to be in the club anymore. Whatever.
So you have this new record coming out. What are you going to call the new album?
It's going to be called People I Met Freshman Year.
That's fun.
Yeah, because all the songs are at least influenced by people I met.
That you met in your freshman year. Interesting. So what is the first single you're going to put out called?
It's going to be called Texas Plates.
Okay.
I talked about it earlier, where it is the first song that I wrote here in Nashville.
Did you co-write that one as well?
Nope.
That was a solo?
Yeah. Where I wrote it after, seeing a guy for maybe 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously not going to go anywhere, but I was so mad. And so that's like the greatest song ever. Yeah, in my opinion.
You're like, it's a hit.
It's great.
So for people who've never heard you play before, how would you describe your genre? Your vibe? What's your vibe, Rachel? Crickets, chirp, chirp.
20-year-old woman. I don't know. Like country, maybe? Country question mark?
Country question
What
mark?
is country music anymore? I don't know.
Whatever
There's some
the heck.
like
Beyonce is a number one country artist. Like, country music is literally anything you want it to be.
I'm not going to say anything bad about Beyonce. Sorry. You can't get me with that. Sorry. I love her. I love the album.
We're going to start dropping bombs here.
Sorry. I like Cowboy Carter. I really do.
I know some people really hate it. And I'm like, just let it be.
And they're like Jim Bob from down the way.
Jim Bob from
I'm like, okay, I'm sure Beyonce
yeah.
cares what you think about her album.
He's got like 6 teeth and he's wearing the Oakleys and a big, ugly hat. And you're just like...
And a big, ugly hat.
And you're just like, man, your opinion doesn't matter. Sorry
He's been listening to the same
any Jim
CD
Bobs from
for 20
Bumfuck,
years.
Oklahoma with their Oakleys and your big hats.
Sorry,
we love
Jim
you.
Bob.
Hi, Jim Bob.
Sorry.
Man, you got 2 first names. It's like, no, it's actually one name. It's Jim Bob.
Hyphenated.
Hyphenated.
No, it's kind of like an exponent where the Jim is the big and then Bob is up to the top right.
It's like, little tiny letters.
I don't know. I'd call myself country. I would. I think that's where I write best.
Was that the genre that influenced you?
No.
I
never
what did
ever
you listen
listened to country
growing
music.
up?
Taylor Swift.
Taylor Swift.
The radio, Book of Mormon.
You're like, I listened to only theater
Musical
soundtracks.
theater, Wicked. I don't
Singing
know.
in the Rain over and
That's
over
like my
and
deep
over
dark
again.
secret. I'm really spilling here.
You miss what?
That's my deep dark secret. Like, I'm really spilling it out here that I did musical theater.
I think the best compliment I ever got from my dad was when I was a sophomore in college, and I had written a song on the piano called From Afar, and I played it for him, and he's like, this is wonderful. It should be in a musical.
Mine's the exact opposite. Is I'll tell someone, yeah, I used to do musical theater, and they're like, oh, I could never tell. I'm like, yes, I did it. I'm hiding it well.
Well, Rach, thanks for coming on the podcast this week. We have to go get ready for the tattoo bet show tonight.
Oh, yeah. Everyone be there, be square. This comes out in like June.
Yeah, we have this bet of tonight, and I know you heard it on the Mallory and the Grace intern episodes as well. But this is the night we're doing our tattoo bet at the Nash House Saloon. This is our final show of the semester here, and they made a bet with me that if 150 people came, I had to get a tattoo of their choosing, and
Yep.
if they win, we'll do a reveal video of what I got. If I'm gonna give a big if.
Oh, I'm hoping like if we don't get to 150, you're just gonna be like, you know how like at the end of at the end of the movie where like the sports team doesn't win the big championship, and they're like, but we had friendship, and then it's like, no, the other team actually was cheating. You did win. Yeah. I hope it's like that where you'll just be like, I'm gonna get the tattoo anyway.
We won! Well, Rachel, can you tell our listeners this week where they can find your music online, where they can follow you?
My name is Rachel Sinniger, RACL.
Do you know how to spell your name?
RACHEL space SINNIGER.
Or you can just look at the title of this podcast.
Yeah, at Rachel_Sinniger on Instagram for life and cat updates, and Rachel Sinniger Music on Instagram and TikTok for purely music. Yeah, that one's just for my grandma, pretty much. She goes, Rachel, will you post more to Facebook? I'm like, I don't remember my password.
It's gone. Facebook's gone.
So those are just for her.
That's how my grandparents follow me too. They keep up on Facebook and they listen to the podcast. Hi, Grandma. Hi, Grandpa.
I'm going to send this to her in an email. She's going to go, how do I listen to this?
Well, Rachel, thank you for having been an intern with Tour Stop for a whole freaking year. I can't believe we've reached the end of the semester. It's summer break, baby.
Summer.
Well, go follow Rachel Sinniger on the social medias. We will have all of her links in the episode description on your podcast player. So click in there.
Sorry, this is not videoed anymore, right?
Nope.
Aaron just pointed down at the ground when he said in the video description, and it's not a video.
In the description.
It's not, like in
it's
real
great for a
life.
video podcast.
He pointed down.
Podcast.
It's an audio form. They
audio
can't
only
see
now. But give us a follow on Point to the Ground podcast. Follow us on social media at Nashville Tour Stop. Follow us on the web at NashvilleTourStop.com. You can find our full live event calendar there. You can come hang with us over the summer. We're going to be doing a summer pool party series at the JW Marriott downtown. Woo-hoo. I'm stoked. Let's go get a sunburn outside. Oh boy. But even though that is the end of the semester with the interns, that is the end of an era. In the words of our forefathers. I don't know.
Oh, I was like, what's he going to say? Some wisdom?
I was trying to make a Taylor Swift joke, and I was like, I don't know any Taylor Swift references. This has been the end of an era, though.
Yeah.
I hope you sleep well and don't have to do anything else for the rest of your life.
I wish.
I hope you get to go do goat yoga.
Yes. I hope I get to go milk goats and produce cheese. We can do a partnership. Then we can be Nashville Tour Stop. Rachel's, goat cheese.
Goat cheese.
Sponsor.
We sell cheese, yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be cool. Bars are all like, oh, we can't carry more tequila. Be like, how about this?
Cheese?
How about some cheese?
How about some goat cheese? Okay, we need to end this episode. Bye.
Bye. Well, in the meantime, give us a follow on your podcast player. Leave us a 5-star review. Tell your friends. Share it with somebody. We got a lot of unhinged stuff, like last week's episode with Mallory Fisher. Boy, howdy, did that one go off the rails. But we'll be back next week with more on the Nashville Tour Stop podcast.